Kimberly Guilfoyle, along with Juan Williams, Jesse Waters, Dana Perino, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. Jeff Sessions and his Justice Department are under fire again from President Trump. Why?
They should be looking at the Democrats. They should be looking at Podesta and all of that dishonesty. They should be looking at a lot of things. And a lot of people are disappointed in the Justice Department, including me.
The president fuming that a criminal investigation hasn't been opened yet into Hillary Clinton, the DNC, and others for stealing the Democratic primary from Bernie Sanders. He sounded off to the press about it before taking off for Hawaii earlier.
You ought to look at Hillary Clinton, and you ought to look at the new book that was just put out by Donna Brazile, where she basically bought the DNC and she stole the election from Bernie. So that's what you ought to take a look at.
Recent revelations from Donna Brazile, the DNC's own former chair, proved Mr. Trump was right that the race was rigged all along.
I'm not a Bernie Sanders fan, although I must say I got a lot of his votes when he was thrown out. I thought that was terrible.
But I'm not.
The president says people are angry. The American public deserves an FBI and DOJ investigation into this. Greg?
All right.
Care to share that comment?
This book, it kind of bugs me about when things like this happen. This information apparently was known, or it was held for a book. And that's the problem with book deals, is that the truth is embargoed. People have all this juicy stuff. That she should have blown the whistle right when she knew. And things might be different for the Democratic Party. They might have had a President Webb. Who knows? I'm not saying Sanders, but and think about all those people that, including maybe even me, who owe Trump an apology. Remember that whole period of time when he kept saying everything was rigged?
Right.
Everything was rigged, and people would chuckle like I would chuckle. But the line for apologies...
Can you say sorry now?
No, I never apologize for anything. But the line for apologies is longer than the line for the porta potty at a chili festival.
Okay.
Wow. Charming as always on a Friday. Exactly. Chili Friday. Okay, so Dana, now you know Donna Brazile very well. And she's really kind of like laying it out, giving up the goods on the DNC.
Well, I didn't know what was going to be in the book. I knew that she was writing it and that she felt like she had finally...
So you knew?
No, I did not know the content of it. I knew she wanted to write the book. I do think that she probably feels free to say whatever she wants to at this point. And she'll be on Tucker Carlson's show on Monday night, and I'm sure she'll probably have to answer a question of that, like why would you have held it back? And
she's
also,
avoiding me.
I'm sure.
My show's on Saturday. She's not on that show.
It's because the book's embargoed till Tuesday.
There you go. Embargoed.
Tuesday. But also, you know what? You got to hand it to them. If you are somebody who is an author of a book and you want to actually get attention for your book, this is the way to do it. I mean, this is actually a really good way. She has the President of the United States talking about her book as he's leaving the South Lawn. I do think about one thing, is that the President being agitated at the Justice Department for all sorts of reasons I can understand. I'm not sure exactly the crime that DOJ would actually investigate here. It looks to me like it was an agreement, an arrangement. It might be wrong, might be unethical. It might be really a bummer for Bernie Sanders, who feels like he was not treated well by the DNC. But I don't see the law that was broken.
Okay, well, Jesse, so maybe some collusion, but not illegal or prosecutable or investigating.
The spirit of the law was obviously broken here, but if you follow the Clinton cash, it always leads to a scandal. Look, follow the cash, Uranium One, pay for play, fake dossier, and now the primary rigging. What happened, she acted as a predatory lender. She comes in, swoops in, bails them out, but slaps on all these ridiculous riders like, we're going to control your bank account, we're going to control your hiring and firing, we're going to control your communications team. And it wasn't really a hostile takeover.
Doesn't that sound like a good deal for her? Like she made a good deal.
She had a great deal. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz, you know, she's just as crooked as Hillary. She didn't say no. She said, bring on the cash. So that's fine. I mean, Bernie, I'd be pretty upset if I was Bernie. Bernie got hosed, and his supporters should be very angry. He never stood a chance because she got her tentacles in a year before the convention. Now, if she can rig a primary against Bernie, she'd certainly attempt to rig a general against Trump. You just said that. Now, the lawyers can decide if the laws were broken. The only issue is she sets up these joint fundraising committees with the DNC to bust the donor caps. She brings in all the cash and then squirrels it away for herself and doesn't give the state committees anything. That's the issue. Now, Brazil coming clean, I think, basically tells Hillary, stay in the woods with your Chardonnay. We don't want to see you anymore. But it also curries favor with the Bernie people in the future, and I think she's a smart player there. But Hillary can't blame a vast right-wing conspiracy for this scandal because this is Dem-on-Dem crime.
All right, well, you're giving Chardonnay a bad name, which I take issue to.
But I must say,
sorry.
are you kidding? He said Chardonnay in the woods. That's pretty enticing. I think people set up dates like that.
It's the title of my new book of poetry.
Is that right? I'll be your first buyer. I want an autographed copy, Gregory.
Or his first victim.
So I agree. I don't think there's any crime here, but I love the way Republicans are talking about this. Like, oh my God, lock her up, lock her up. This is ridiculous. But I love it because, you know what? It's so interesting to me. The DNC was on its back financially because President Obama is the one who set up the Organizing for America as a separate entity, and I think it took away a lot of money from the DNC.
Always blaming Obama.
Oh, that's me. That's me. Okay. So then here comes Hillary Clinton, who actually, guess what, is like a saving angel who comes in
nice spin, Juan.
and puts money into their pockets.
That's hilarious.
And then the second thing, no, this is the truth. You can look it up. And then guess what? People say, oh, this is terrible now that Donna puts it in her book. But you know what? Donna's just recounting the absolute truth. She came and said, what's going on? The bigger sin, by the way, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who I think was incompetent, did not do a good job for the Democrats.
That's true.
And people said, no, well, you want to be nice to her. She's a nice person. We can work with her. She's made some mistakes. She's not a great speaker, blah, blah, blah. Too many forgiving, too many excuses made. And I think that's what led. So Donna walks in, and Donna says, oh, what a surprise. Guess what? Hillary Clinton, not only do I have to, is Hillary Clinton signing the checks, I've got to send every communication to Brooklyn, which was where her headquarters was, in order to get it approved. Why is that? Oh, because they're paying. Hey, the piper has always called the tune. I don't know where you guys are from.
But Juan,
what a nice story.
This story, it would have been a happy ending if she won. But instead, she's not. If you're going to steal the election, at least win the election.
Yeah,
basically, she volunteered to be a squad leader and then led the squad into an ambush.
No,
she's the designated driver.
I don't know how you want to describe it, but she lost. If that's your point, and she should have won.
If that's your point, win.
But it's not corrupt if you say a year in advance. By the way, a year in politics before a presidential election is not that far. Yeah. But if you say that, she actually put herself on the line with the DNC. And my problem would be it wasn't a level playing field for Bernie.
Right.
But Bernie should have known it. Bernie's not a Democrat. He doesn't have connections to the state committees and people.
Why should they have bent over backwards for Bernie? He
exactly.
can't even call himself a Democrat.
Well, you don't have to bend over backwards, but you actually
pretend
to be fair. Just pretend.
What about Martin O'Malley?
They did pretend to be
fair.
Yeah,
Martin O'Malley got
rigged. That was the problem. They did pretend to be fair.
Yeah.
That was,
they needed to actually
when all the emails come out, that's why Debbie Wasserman Schultz gets ousted and why Donna has to go in and say, okay, I guess I have to take over for the next 3
years. Now, the Republican Party did not rig the RNC primary. Obviously not, because we would have had Ted Cruz.
Yeah, but let me just say this: the big story to my mind today is you got the President of the United States telling the Justice Department that they should go after his political opponent, and you guys don't say a word.
I'll say
That's
a word.
Not the story.
It's about time.
Because, it's about time.
Yeah, because the DNC smells to high heaven. They claim they got hacked by the Russians, but they can't prove
Jesse,
it.
Stop. You can.
Stop what? Being right?
You would want me. Let's say I was president.
It's funny he couched it too. He said, I shouldn't say this, but I'm saying it.
Let's say
total escape.
Let's say that I was president and we had run against each other.
You're president. I'm moving to Canada.
Good. All right, but we're going to go get you now. I'm going to say to my attorney general, go get Jesse Waters and punish him. You would think that's America, Jesse?
Yeah. Well, I probably deserve it.
Oh my!
But you know what? The story.
That's Jesse's America.
The story is that this is a signal for the Dems that they have to make a clean break. You can't remarry until you get divorced, and they got to tell. They have to tell the Clintons to hit the road, although the road won't be happy. But this is somebody who gallivanted around town on their hard work. Clinton laughed all the way to the bank. and you have the Democratic Party, which is basically a Superfund site at this point.
Well, and possibly the other part of the story, Juan, to the concern, if there is one, about the president trying to weigh in and push DOJ to do something, is DOJ hasn't done it.
Right.
So the independent judiciary that was set up by our founding fathers is actually working. So the institutions have remained in place. So if you're looking for a silver lining, that might be it.
Well, you know, I worry about Congress right now because when I look at people like Devin Nunes, when I look at people like, you know, it's unbelievable, Senator Grassley, and I see them, oh, yeah, well, we should look into that. We should start a separate investigation. We got to investigate Hillary. I think, what has gone on with our national security committees, which used to be the highest level that, you know, people, elder statesmen would serve there and put political loyalties aside?
Have they talked about investigating the DNC? I think they're more talking about the dossier and the uranium one.
There's nothing there, but it's all a part of,
That's what you always say.
No. This is all a part of Donald Trump's scheme to raise up dust, distract people from the Russia probe, Jesse.
Oh, really? The Russia probe?
Yeah.
The Russia
That again.
probe that was like front and center forever and ever and a day. And
It's still going on. We had indictments this week.
How can you be so forgiving to the Clintons?
Why
How did DNC being rigged by Hillary turn into Russia, Juan? Talk about diversion.
Diversion?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. No
Well
indictments.
done. Well done.
No indictments
You're
this
so off
week.
topic, it's not even funny.
No guilty plea this week. No, nothing like that going on. We don't have Hope Hicks pretty soon to be interviewed by the special counsel.
If Hillary was president, she'd probably rig it. So
Oh,
she'd
there you
skate.
go. Oh, back to
At least
Hillary.
Trump doesn't interfere.
Diversion, America.
No, but every time you say that, Juan,
Trump.
you're giving another lifeline to Hillary. Why don't you cut the lifeline?
You
Let
love
him go.
him.
No,
Wait. What would
You're
you do for
afraid to
Hillary?
criticize
No, that's
Hillary.
a good
You
point.
would be at a loss without
That's
Hillary.
how selfless I am, Juan.
what a man.
I'm willing
What a
to give
man.
up. I'm willing to give up an opportunity for humor, a segment on Hillary. If she goes away, I'm saying it's better for America.
Did you
He
read
knows
Trump's
she was
tweets today?
corrupt because of the whole Clinton Foundation.
I didn't like that.
You took issue with that
Right.
from the beginning, so I don't know why you're not cutting
But
the
you
dead
know
weight.
what? For people who are interested in humor, how can you get past President Trump's tweets today about Pocahontas agreeing with him on Hillary?
That's great. And it's classic because remember, she denied the rigging, and now she's saying she's with it. That's my point. She should be one of the people that says, "I'm sorry, Trump, you were right."
She's the
Right about
chief
what?
rigger.
About the rigging.
What rigging? That she helped out the DNC?
It was rigged.
You just-
Pocahontas even
It
said
was
so.
a quid pro quo, and I don't even know what that means, but I saw it on a Perry Mason episode.
Pocahontas Po.
Quid
I
pro
put Tucker
Pocahontas.
Carlson having Dawn on Monday, but I have her on Tuesday on the Daily Briefing.
Oh, somebody
Well
special.
done.
I hope she embargoes something for you,
That was
Dana
smooth.
Perina.
I have Lawrence Savant.
Hopefully she'll hold something back for me.
Okay, fantastic. Donna, do it. She'll buy you some wine after. All right, no prison time for admitted Army deserter Bo Bergdahl. A stunning sentence for a stunning crime. Next.
Bo Bergdahl will receive no jail time. That ruling coming from a military judge earlier today. Prosecutors had recommended a prison sentence of 14 years after he pleaded guilty to desertion for leaving his post in Afghanistan back in 2009. His defense team argued he has suffered enough since he was held captive by the Taliban for years. In addition, he was sentenced to a dishonorable discharge, will be reduced in rank, and will forfeit $1,000 in pay per month. President Trump tweeted his outrage on the ruling, saying, quote, "The decision on Sergeant Bergdahl is a complete and total disgrace to our country and to our military." Greg, your thoughts?
Well, you know, he's probably going to get a book deal. He's probably going to go on a speaking tour. He will probably get a reality show on Bravo. He could do something with Chelsea Manning. They could call it A Beau for Chelsea. Ooh. And they could live together in a house. It'd be beautiful. So don't weep for him. He's got it all made. If you want to check out, we have a couple. These are people that have done or have been found guilty of lesser crimes. And their sentences. There's a Navy sailor, Christian Saucier, sentenced to a year in prison for sharing classified info. He took a photo inside a nuclear sub, got a year. Then there's U.S. Army Captain Bryant Williams. He was sentenced to 3 years for taking bribes while in Baghdad. So think about that. in this context and how horrible it is. But he is punished in this way. He has to live with himself.
Kimberly.
Yeah, I mean, this was, outrageous. I was actually very surprised. I mean, obviously, we knew he was going to get a dishonorable discharge, but not to get, any time. I guess they believed that his sob story about how he had suffered enough and every day was agonizing. But, this is something that he did to himself and dishonored the military and put lives in danger. So I don't know. I don't understand the sentence at all. And in fact, his lawyers want to appeal it because they don't like the dishonorable discharge.
Right.
They said that it carries a stigma with it.
Yeah.
And also, we don't like the reduction in benefits or money each
I was surprised by that. I thought, one, they should just take what they got because, 6 U.S. soldiers died while searching for Bo Bergdahl, and you can imagine how their families feel tonight.
Well, I mean, actually, the military courts got involved, and the military courts said they weren't convinced that he was either a sympathizer, no one died in their opinion, and they said there was no evidence that at any point that he had engaged in what they would term misconduct. So this was not one military court, this was one military court, a second, now a third that says jail time was inappropriate for someone who was held 5 years as a prisoner and tortured. So, I understand the politics of this because you wouldn't want to be this guy's mate in battle and know that you don't have your back covered or that he's engaging in some conduct that could put you in peril. And people were injured, people were hurt in course of his disappearance and looking for him. So to me, I understand it, but I just think, what? I would trust the military and the military system, but I can see that President Trump is not like me. He wants to politicize this.
Jesse?
Well, I don't know if he's politicizing it. He's just sharing his opinion as the commander-in-chief. The Bergdahl thing has been a travesty from start and now to finish.
Yeah.
He deserted. It was a terrible deal to get him back. Remember the lies from the president and Susan Rice about him being an honorable guy caught in the battlefield.
misconduct before the enemy.
Exactly. And now this sentence doesn't make any sense to me. Every step has been shameful. Think about it. Not only people were harmed, the report is that 6 people died looking for him. The trade, now 5 top Taliban commanders are back on the battlefield. I'm sure we have no idea where they are. And I believe, from what we've seen in the reports, that cash was exchanged. So that just encourages more hostage taking and more people being captured on the battlefield and held for ransom.
And he got a rose, garden ceremony. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, with his father. I mean, it was a beautiful event, and we're glad he's back, but at the same time, it doesn't make much sense. Now, the judge is thinking, this guy suffered enough. 5 years, Taliban captivity, fine. But punishment in the United States not only is for punishment, but it's also as a deterrent. So for future platoons, it makes people think twice about deserting because a platoon's only as strong as the weakest link. So now when you're out there, they take this very seriously in the U.S. military, desertion, extremely seriously. So when people think about it, doing it again, hey man, get a slap on the wrist, no jail time. Not as stringent as it used to be in this country.
General Jack Keane, actually, when he was on Fox just a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Bo Bergdahl, and he said that early on, Kimberly, that the military, at least the reporting about Bo Bergdahl, might have not been tight enough, and that when it got to the White House, that was why President Obama had information that made him think that he deserved a Rose Garden ceremony when maybe he didn't.
No, yeah, there was definitely reports of that to suggest that the president was given incomplete or inaccurate, information from which to, form a decision, and which ultimately resulted in him having the Rose Garden ceremony. But, all of that should come out, and, I'm sure perhaps if the president could, President Obama, he would do it differently. But it doesn't even, change the fact here that justice was not served because he should have received the proper amount of punishment for the crimes that he committed. So I did not see a compelling case for leniency here. And in fact, this was just really thrown in the face of the other American military that served faithfully and for those in their family that lost their lives because of this traitor.
But it seems to me, just a second, I just want to quickly throw in that there was no pardon. So when we look at that moment in the Rose Garden, Obama never pardoned the guy. He put it into the hands of the military, and this is a military decision.
Well, and I don't think he'll be getting a pardon now.
No.
Greg, apparently the military doesn't usually issue explanations for its rulings, but do you think in this case they should?
I think so. To Jesse's point about Donald Trump sharing an opinion. It's interesting because we've had this twice now with the terror attack. Right after terror, get the death penalty. And this Bo Bergdahl, this is what he said, his outrage. This is the first cab driver president. You know, that classic New York persona of the guy that has an opinion and will share it with you.
Well, and remember, it was the judge.
Yes.
And the judge perhaps inappropriately suggested that President Trump's comments about Bo Bergdahl would maybe influence the decision, which is why I'm wondering if the court.
No, I think the defense attorneys suggested that, and they wanted to get the thing thrown out on that basis. The judge said no.
The judge said no on that one. So I wonder if they'll give us more information.
Well, they should. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of outrage. I don't think the story stops here at all. And then it's a whole question of what's the next chapter? What is this guy, going to do to further, shame the U.S. military and what kind of behavior?
He'll get on Twitter. He'll use a lot of emoticons, emojis.
Maybe Harvard will make him
I don't know. He's been pretty quiet. He's been pretty quiet. He hasn't been like Chelsea.
Go back to the marijuana fields or something.
That's true. All right, ahead. This album cover from Snoop Dogg coming under fire. We're going to discuss it next.
Oh, boy.
I want to talk about me. I want to talk about number one.
For the second time this year, rapper Snoop Dogg is joking around with the idea of assassinating President Trump. Where's the outrage from the left about this new album-like image posted on Snoop's Instagram page that shows a dead body with a toe tag that says Trump? Don't forget, Snoop also released a music video in March that showed him pointing a toy gun at a clown dressed like the president and pulled the trigger. So, Greg, we talked about this the other day. Kathy Griffin did the same kind of thing. Snoop's done it now twice. Why do you think Snoop, D-O-double-G, is being held to a different standard?
I think he's at TBS. I think he might have a carve out on his contract. No sexual harassment, no gunplay, no drugs, but you can still threaten the life of a president. Okay. That's in there. I don't know. This president, only this president. Yeah, could you imagine? I think TBS is hoping that because we have so much news now in these news cycles that no one's going to notice this. If this had happened under Obama, it would be crazy. But it's at some point they have to address this. By the way, this is not even an original layout. I think this is an Ice Cube reference, and it was America. I think it was America and not Trump. And so he's not only stealing Kathy Griffin's MO, he's stealing Ice Cube's art. It's not very daring hip-hop artist, if you ask me.
Juan, do you condemn?
Sure, because I don't like violence. I'm opposed to that, and I oppose especially to the idea of directing violence against our leaders. So I think that would break down our structure, and so I can't abide by that. I mean, to me, what we're seeing is, and I thought Greg was very surprisingly gracious. I mean, because I think because there are a lot.
That never happens.
It never. I know.
Very odd.
Very odd. But I just saw a list here of the number of liberal artists, and it goes through people like Rosie O'Donnell, George Lopez, Marilyn Manson, Mickey Rourke, Robert De Niro. I could go on, who have, in fact, gone after the idea of taking Trump out. And, I just think it's obnoxious. But worse than obnoxious, I think it feeds our worst instincts as Americans.
Kimberly, I saw the same list, and I noticed some similarities. Time Warner owns TBS. Was a Snoop situation. Also owns CNN, where we've seen Kathy Griffin and Anthony Bourdain say some really vicious things and do vicious things. Owns Comedy Central, where Larry Wilmore also said something about the president like that. And Shakespeare in the Park. Remember the Trump assassination play? Time Warner has some problems.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, well, they've got some
They never show up on time
presidential fixation as well. Yeah, I'll try and get an appointment with them.
They don't exist, by the way. Didn't they change their name? Time Warner Cable? Anyway, I'm sorry.
This type of stuff really bothers me, and it seems that Snoop Dogg is going back and forth to the presidential well, and is really just sort of fixating on the president and using him with, willful abandon to try to get some recognition and make some money, and I don't know, popularity. We saw Eminem do a video talking about the president. You see the funny one they did with Hannity?
Yeah, I did.
Funny. But I don't know why he's doing this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just it's upsetting. They went after the first lady too.
Did they have a problem in the Bush White House to this extent? Probably not.
Oh gosh, of course they did.
Not to this extent. Do you remember?
Yes, of
they,
course.
oh my gosh, that wasn't.
And especially, well, and also, you know, the war was ongoing and it was raging, and so there was, you know, a lot of the protests, and it got very, very ugly. So yes, I mean, this
Hey
is
man,
not new.
you don't remember blood for oil and all that?
I remember those being protesters on the streets, but never the A-list or B-list celebrities saying.
Oh, well, yeah, actually, Keith Olbermann today on, well, I don't know if he's A-list celebrity, but anyway, on The View today, he said he thinks he owes George W. Bush an apology.
Ooh.
So we'll see if that comes. The funny thing to me is that country music fans are the ones that get tagged with being like, you know, gun-toting and hating, and I'm like, well, they don't do anything like this, ever. They pretty much stay out of politics. And I saw Rosie O'Donnell today on Twitter said something like she spends 90% of her time hate tweeting on Trump. And so I would just say to everybody, like, he should not take up this much space in your life.
Yet
Well,
he does.
actually, politics in general it should only be about this much in your brain.
10%.
But not even that, I would say 5%,
Okay.
and the rest just thinking about rainbows and unicorns.
And that's what you do every day.
70% unicorns.
All right,
There
keep
you go.
that to yourself, Greg.
No, I'm never going to keep it to
All
myself.
right, you may have
I love
noticed the
unicorns,
president's
Jesse.
Twitter account is now back up and running again after disappearing for a while last night. It wasn't an accident. Twittergate up next.
Oh heavens! For 11 minutes yesterday, beginning around 6:45 p.m. Eastern, something very spooky happened. President Trump no longer had contact with the world via Twitter. His account disappeared. It was mysteriously deactivated. Fear not, America. It's back up. But what happened? Twitter investigated and found a customer service employee shut it down on his or her last day. The person was reportedly a contractor. Quite a way to go. The president gave his reaction on Twitter, of course, saying his account was, quote, taken down for 11 minutes by a rogue employee. I guess the word must finally be getting out and having an impact, end quote. Jesse, I know you were just taken apart by this.
Yes, I just needed the president to tweet. I was waiting. I was very upset by it.
Heartbroken, crestfallen.
Yes. I mean, the left staged a social media coup against the commander-in-chief. It just shows how dangerous it can be. But my sources are saying that Twitter has rehired this employee, given him a raise, a promotion, and given him a corner office.
Seriously?
No, I'm kidding. The point
news.
is, this guy's a hero now. He is a hero. He'll have free drinks for the rest of his life.
Free drinks.
But it is typical liberal, though. Shut the debate down instead of actually having a conversation.
All right, so Kimberly, the idea is that people at one time were lobbying Twitter to take Trump off of it because they said he violated their rules. For example, when he threatened North Korea, or when he beat up CNN. Remember that?
Yes.
Or, when,
Rocket Man,
or Greg's
little Rocket
favorite.
Man.
Remember when he hit the golf ball and it smacked Hillary in the back?
That was a good one.
Yeah, do we have that?
Go to the file on that. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. This person obviously was completely, you know, acting inappropriately by doing this, but they thought they can get away with it because they were getting fired anyway. So, like, let me just pull the ripcord on the way out, like set the fire alarm off at school.
But aren't you
That's
worried
a no-no.
that one person could do that?
Of course I am. I mean, this just goes to show you. I don't know what's going on over there at Twitter. I really don't. I mean, they need to have some more safeguards in, okay? And, like, what do? They need to, like, block people who are, like, repeat, like, stalkers on there, that, right? Block them by their IP address, not just by, they open, like, 25 different accounts. It's just, like, running amok over there.
Sounds like a personal situation.
So then I read a piece, Dana, and it said, imagine if instead of shutting it down, the person had said something serious about we're going to war or something.
Yeah.
It would have been
mean,
terrible.
you could induce panic or a war or something, cause a problem. Absolutely. That's terrible. And so I don't know. Twitter's got some serious policy problems. I think that they haven't addressed them well. I think that was proved over and over again for all of those reasons. But I would say if anybody at Twitter wants to shut down my account, please Take it.
And Greg's and mine.
But
and
leave
definitely
out Jasper's.
Jesse's.
Leave Jasper's.
Wait a minute. Greg loves his Twitter account.
No, it's a love-hate. There's an ambivalence there.
Actually.
Now it's a hate-hate.
You know what it is? Twitter exists on our own vanity and desire for attention. At this point, if you have a career and a family, you should consider leaving Twitter because of this very example.
You have a career and a family.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's why I'm talking to myself. I'm trying to work through some issues here. The press thought it was hilarious. There was if you looked at the blue check mob, those are the people that think they're really important. They're in the first class of Twitter because they got a little blue check, and they love that blue check.
I got one.
They said they're going to pay for the guy's health care if he lost his job, or they were going to buy him a pizza. What if somebody went to the blue check mob and started tweeting out like pornography and cost them their job, or racist stuff? Or what if it went to Juan's Twitter account and says, I'm going to kill short people starting today at the 5. It's like
he does slay you.
You could
go
ruin,
with him first.
Yeah, you could ruin people's lives. So it's like, I think that if it can happen this easily, and you could probably do far worse. I think maybe it's time to figure out something better to do with your time. And again, I'm talking to me. I'm saying, why am I doing it?
The show.
But you should see the self-control that I have last night. I had this amazing tweet directed at somebody in the media who was humble bragging beyond belief.
Good.
It was, and I just said.
And he even asked permission from friends. Like, can I tweet this?
I said, can I send this out to this because this person deserves it? And then you what did you say?
I didn't reply, but Tom Shalhoub said you should do it.
Yeah.
But you know what I think about
Never
this?
listen to Shalhoub.
So here's what I think about this, Greg. I think there was a time when you could drive people to watch the 5 via Twitter, and I think you believe that. So I mean, you were using it.
I do that.
I think
okay.
It's a great.
But I think you've said now you don't believe that's the case.
I think that people come to the show because they love the show, they look forward to it. I mean, Twitter might remind you something's on, but it doesn't do that to me.
We need something that is just for so you can follow the news and what's happening without the Twitter.
Yeah, but at least, well,
Hey, stop it.
but at least it also tells you can highlight what's going to be on the show for that day.
That is true.
That's what I do.
Is true. My problem is I just wake up in the morning and I go, oh God, what have I done?
Facebook Friday.
But so here's Trump. Usually you're talking to yourself, but talk to Trump. So Dana, Trump said he wouldn't be president, without President Trump. He wouldn't be president without Twitter.
No, he utilizes it very well. And one of the things that was key in the election when it came down to the general election candidates of Trump and Clinton is that he obviously was doing the tweeting himself and it was authentic, and she obviously was not. When Neera Tanden was doing her tweets, they were actually pretty funny, but with the ones that were just sanitized and boring, nobody likes that.
So, for example, I'm going to tweet this weekend about the Eagles. Huh? You hear that?
Yeah. What are you going to tweet, Juan?
I don't know.
That they won?
Get out. All right. The Washington football team's going to win. Our social media accounts are running just fine here. Facebook Friday.
Yay!
Up next.
43's favorite movie, Caddyshack, correct? Interesting.
Not surprising.
Facebook Friday, a little bit of trivia for you at home, because I care about you.
Nice.
All right, this is from Frank F. Ooh, this is a great question, Frank. If you actually exist.
Oh, my God.
If you got stuck in the elevator for 8 hours, which Fox person, and only one, would you choose to be stuck with, and why? And we're referring to the remaining employees.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
goodness. No clawbacks. Yeah, I mean, this happened to me.
What? Oh, who was it?
Well, I was with myself.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when I got trapped in the elevator?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
457, and then I dragged somebody. Who did
Freight
I drag
elevator.
in there? Did
Freight
I drag
elevator.
Luke in there? I think
don't
I
know.
did. I was like, help me, and I thought he had the pass, and then we were both trapped.
So you would prefer to be stuck with yourself?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble and say anybody. I mean, definitely not you, because you'll freak out.
I will have a panic attack.
Yeah, you will.
I have a panic attack in a normal elevator
And then you'll
ride.
start taking your socks off again.
Let's
like
not
on
get
the
into
plane.
that. Juan?
Well, I think I've told you this is the scariest thing in my life. I can't deal with it, so I don't want to think about this.
You don't even like thinking about it?
No.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
That's interesting. That's like, I don't like thinking about tall places.
What?
Heights. Tall places.
That'd be be everything to you.
That's everything.
That's everything.
Like shelving. I can't think about shelving.
Okay.
He gets shelving.
No, if I think
anxiety.
about heights, I actually get a little dizzy. Isn't that weird? It just shows you how your brain, Jesse, you can impact your brain with thoughts.
Yes, I've
thoughts.
heard that before.
Yes.
The power of positive thinking.
Yes, exactly.
If I was to get stuck on an elevator with someone from Fox, it would have to be a hair and makeup artist. So when I left the elevator after 8 hours and everybody was looking at me, I looked good.
Always
Well,
thinking.
they'd have to have their tools, their implements with them.
That was part of the deal.
So you'd have to have a Fox News employee who's also like a part-time fireman. That's what happens. They always come for you.
What about you?
I would go with Erin Landers, who's
Ah,
my
your assistant.
because she's always got like a bag full of stuff, snacks,
Yeah.
things like that. She's got
Yes.
funny stories. She's cheerful. She doesn't panic.
That's good.
I'm actually going to go change mine, Selwyn from the News Cafe, so he can cook me something for 8 hours.
I
That's
like
good.
that.
You know, it's interesting. You raise a good question. If you're, let's say you are in the elevator, there's 5 people and you don't know very well and you're stuck, and you're the only one that has lunch. Are you obligated to share your lunch with these people if you're going into 2 hours or 3 hours?
Well, that'd be
No?
weird if you didn't share. I mean, what's wrong with you?
You
Why
pay
wouldn't
for
you
it's
wanna
your
share?
food.
So
They
what?
should have brought their own lunch. Just in case this happens,
I'm
I have a
doubling
lunch.
down that I definitely don't want
Anyway,
to
obviously
be
my
with
choice
you.
is Lou Dobbs, because Lou Dobbs could carry me in his strong arms, climbing up the elevator cable to rescue
Poor
me.
Dobbs. I think we better pick our intern, Brian. He's very nice and
That's
also
true. He's a
is
diver.
EMT and like
Ooh.
fix my arm.
This is
Jack
interesting.
of all trades.
I'm going to start with you, Dana.
Okay.
This is from Daniel K. What weird food combinations do you really enjoy?
Oh boy.
Combinations.
Can I tell you one that I used to love, and it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
What?
My grandmother on my mom's side, Grandma Brooks, she and I used to eat Miracle Whip and peanut butter sandwiches.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Is that like
Pretty,
old-
I mean,
that's
it sounds
kind of like an
horrible
Elvis
now.
thing.
It sounds horrible now, but at the
Peanut
time
butter
we
and
really liked
banana.
it with Wonder Bread.
Interesting. Interesting. What about you, Jesse? Any weird?
Yeah, so my middle name's Bailey, my grandfather, and we do a Bailey bacon sandwich where you take a hot dog bun and you put bacon strips and then you put mustard on it and you just eat it
Yeah.
like that for breakfast.
Oh, my mouth just watered. That sounds good.
It's very good.
Actually, it sounds super tasty.
Right up your alley.
Oh, kidding me?
Kimberly,
it is
what
my
is
alley.
your combination?
I don't know. Well, I make my little quesadilla pizza cheese thing salami, but I think that's phenomenal together. So I don't know if it's weird.
Can you please bring that in one day?
Yeah, I can.
make
I
one
cut
for
it in
you.
little
Just
squares.
make it one
It's
in
like
the
Yeah,
the
make
cute-
it a food
microwave.
court.
It's like the cutest thing you've ever seen. Yeah. But besides that, I don't mind something like a little peanut butter and bananas and like Elvis sandwich.
I do that.
That's gross.
Okay.
Bananas should only be in bread, I think.
Well, that is in bread. What are you talking
No, I mean banana bread. I like banana bread, but I don't like
Okay,
the
but that's
texture.
on
Don't
bread.
like the texture of banana. The texture is too similar to something that I find repulsive.
What is it?
I'm not going to say it here. It's a family show.
my God.
Juan,
Well,
what is your weird food combination?
Well, the thing is, I really get a kick out of it. I'm like a child. I go into the 7-Eleven and then I put like root beer with blueberry flavored, and it's all
terrible.
kinds. Yes, I knew you would say that.
No.
And I mix them up. And
Blueberry.
even like people in my family are like, keep that away from me.
I like root beer floats, but like
No, but you know, if you go in the freeze, you can pick any flavor you want, Kimberly. And you just
True.
make beautiful colors, but they don't
You know,
necessarily taste.
I may call me weird, but I mean, this is going to peanut butter and jelly. Yeah.
what?
Weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
You don't like
You're
it?
such a
No, he's
unique
saying
You-
it's
it's
weird.
gross. No, but it's
Disgusting.
delicious.
No, I'm saying I'm just joking because it's so banal. I don't have any weird combinations.
Well, let's
I
move
eat.
on.
I make my food does
Your
not
weird
touch.
combination is Greg and Gutfeld.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I don't. None of my food touches on the plate.
Oh, God.
Okay, zip.
I don't like
zip
it.
along.
It's
7 years old, everybody.
Separate but equal, the food on my plate. Separate but equal. Mashed potatoes here, peas here, beef here.
I
But
like
if
to
they
do
touch, it's
that.
over.
Yeah.
It's over. No cats and dogs playing together on my block.
We gotta go. I know.
I'm
we
just
won't
going to keep
stop
talking. One more thing. Next.
It's time now for one more thing, and I'll start with me wee self. Okay, so my good friend.
I didn't know you
Why-
knew
I
French.
look little in that little picture.
I know.
too.
What is going on?
I don't know. It's like
That
very
camera
weird. I look
shot.
like I'm in a mouse trap or something. Okay, my good friends, or recent friend, at Us Weekly recently visited my New York City apartment where I gave them a sneak peek at my shoe closet, and they wanted to, see the wall, which I said was better than Trump's wall, Jesse, of all the shoes. So take a look. One of the big questions that I get asked all the time, and I'm like terrified to answer it or actually know the true answer, is how many pairs of shoes do you have? There have been estimates, about 500 pairs. Dana Perino got these for me because she's a little like cowgirl when she loves country music. So she really upped my coolness game. Oh my God, is that the cutest?
Wow.
When we were at PBR, and they're like very popular. Those boots are flying off the shelf. They're amazing. They didn't put up the clip with the little bedroom
Tico
slippers.
Boss. Yeah, those are good.
I know. And my friend Danielle, who's here, helped me with that whole shoe wall. So thank you, Danielle.
To quote Us Weekly, you're just like us.
Exactly.
500 pairs.
Yeah. Don't believe
The answer to the question is, how many pairs of shoes do you have?
It's not 5
enough.
though. Yeah, not enough. But
That's the
my
answer.
shoe size never changed. So there we go.
My next?
Yes.
All right. So apparently humans love their dogs more than fellow man. Okay. So 2 studies came out that showed that people, if you're shown like you can give contributions to like a little baby or a dog, they'll go with the dog. And also when they looked at Northeastern University, students were shown fake newspaper clippings about a baseball bat attack on a puppy, an adult dog, a year-old infant, and a 30-year-old
Shameless.
adult. And guess
Just
what?
showing
People
pictures.
cared about the dogs more.
Just showing pictures of Jasper. That's all this is for.
No, it was
shameless.
Well, sure. People, I mean, his fans were demanding it.
Greg is such a hater. Okay, Jess.
All right, Saturday Night Water's World, 8 o'clock. We have Ann Coulter. We have Tommy Lahren and a psychiatrist who treats Trump anxiety disorder among the millennials.
They're at balance, Jesse.
Yes, they are.
You're on a streak.
What, no brunettes? Is that why?
Yeah, what's going on there?
Also, there is a classic Water's World quiz. Here's a little taste. What did the Declaration of Independence do?
I have no idea. That's awful.
I am not that knowledgeable on those declarations and the constitutions and all of that.
What country did we declare our independence from?
Virginia. Correct?
No.
All right.
Greg.
Real quick, Greg Gutfeld Show. Tomorrow, I got Lauren Sivan. I got Scott Adams, obviously Dilbert fame, and the guy who predicted Trump's election. It's going to be great tomorrow night and Sunday at 5 p.m.
And Juan had the big parade for Houston Astros.
We'll do it. We'll come back.
All right, never miss an episode of The 5. Special report is up next. Brett, take it away.
Kimberly, thank you. President Trump sounding off over allegations of a fixed Democratic primary. Bernie Sanders supporters angrily weighing in, while one prominent Democratic governor says his party is acting like a circular firing squad ahead of a big election Tuesday. This is Special Report. Good evening. Welcome to Washington. I'm Brett Baer. New fallout tonight from the bombshell allegations leveled against Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee by the committee's former interim chair, Donna Brazile. Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen leads us off tonight with a look at who's weighing in and who's remaining conspicuously silent. A Democratic Party with a battle within itself, making party leaders in a few states, ones with close elections Tuesday, a little nervous.
I've seen some things in my time.
In the firestorm that greeted Donna Brazile's allegation that the Democratic National Committee rigged last year's primary to favor Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders, the most pointed assessment offered to reporters on the White House South Lawn came from the man who spent much of last year ascending to the pinnacle of American politics by decrying it as a rigged game.
You want to look at Hillary Clinton, and you want to look at the new book that was just put out by Donna Brazile, where she basically bought the DNC and she stole the election from Bernie.
In her forthcoming memoir, Brazile, the former interim DNC chair, alleges that a secret signed document transferred control of the DNC to the Clinton campaign in August 2015 in exchange for Mrs. Clinton's work to help retire the DNC's $15 billion bank debt. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi avoided direct comment.
You haven't heard me relitigate last year's election. I wasn't involved in the presidential. I'm only looking forward. This is about the future. I haven't had time to be reading any of that anyway.
Similar to the evasive maneuvers practiced by the Senate Minority Leader both on Thursday.
Do you believe there's corruption in the DNC?
I'm going to read the article before commenting.
And at a news conference on tax reform on Friday.
Thank you, everybody, and have a nice day. Thank you all for coming. Now all topics.
DNC revelations?
No.